Dr. Swen Singh will be more concerned today in terms of how to approach and what are the perspectives through which a good answer will fetch you the marks. Some questions which I provided to you, and the number of questions which are there, which you picked up in terms of 8 each, which were a very simple one. The point which we wanted to convey in terms of the sociological writing or any writing in a mains, that your answer should be lineal, should be coherent, and should be systematic. When I say lineal, in the perspective that when we talk about the answers, many times we change the paragraphs. What I find that when the copies comes to my hand, that there is no relationship between the two paragraphs. Change of the paragraphs would certainly be having a reference with the first one. And this way your answer would be lineal. And when I say coherent, there should not be any kind of duality or discrepancy in your own writing. That if you have picked up answer in 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs, for example, then whatever you have picked up in the paragraph 1 or paragraph 2, that should not be counted in your own answer. And in that very perspective, that answer would be called to be systematic. This is the first which we need to remember while approaching or while writing the question. And the second perspective that comes out, that you are no more writing that questions which have been asked either in general studies or in terms of essay. This is basically sociological in nature. And it is a very painful when we look at, I don't know whether you have looked at the very first page of the question or not. It is written over there that the students are advised to answer in a sociological perspective. This is very painful. It means somewhere the answers which you are providing in essay or in sociology are not up to the sociological perspective. Every subject with its emergence and institutionalization will certainly be bringing some perspectives to view the phenomena that it studies. And if you say in a very broader perspective, we say that sociology is the study of science or scientific study of society, then some perspectives would be employed by the sociologist or the practitioners of this subject. And within that light of these perspectives, your answers start to be viewed on. And once these perspectives have been brought, the third part is your complete clarity of the concept while writing about the things. You agree with one sentence which I keep on telling, that when you look at the last 3 years, particularly with the change of the syllabus in a contemporary times, it is now not possible that you will think and write, because the number of questions are many. So unless and until you have a complete conceptual clarity, you would not be able to do justice with the neat disposition of the question that has been raised to you. And the fourth one, that while reading you have enough time, since you have gone through the sociology, be assimilative in the sense that the new data which comes out, the data should not be collided with your old data, and you should not lose your slip. Rather, all the new data, they will have to provide their own locations, and these locations, providing of the locations would become possible only when the conceptual clarity is there. Two is, I always find the 2 types of students. One, who struggles first to develop the concept, and a good number of students to whom I come across, they are the one, they will mug up the facts. But facts will always be finding their locations within the concept. So unless until your conceptual clarity is there, the providing of the location to the facts which you have mugged up would not become possible. And if it is bereft of that conceptual one, then your answer would only be a piece of information with a one-liner kind of statements. that would not be fetching marks. And I don't know how you have analyzed the marks of those who have qualified with sociology. I always say, and with very confidence I say, that sociology could work like a mathematics, provided the certain need disposition is understood by you. Fetching a 300 marks is an easier one. It is not a tough job. Everyone whosoever has qualified or whoever will qualify this year will have the same worries, will have the same ooze as you are going through now. But who has kept his nerve on that particular day and has done justice to what the questions have been raised, that would be the most important. Now when we are looking at all the concepts, I'll urge not to leave even a single topic or subtopic. Don't assume that this is, since this question has been asked this year, that may not be repeated. I hope you might have gone through the old year questions. And the moment you go from 80s, pre-80s, if the questions bank is there, you find most of the questions which have been asked in the last 3 years, they have contained that questions. For example, if I pick up the very recently that question which was asked to you, in terms of objectivity and value neutrality from the perspective of Weber. That question has been asked several times in a 78, 82. What we have done, that we are only looking at 4 years or 3 years. That set has been there. It has been said to us that whenever you go for mains, only analyze the 3-year trend. And out once you have analyzed the 3-year trend, focus on that one. No. Sociology and its nature will not change, irrespective of the change in the content and the syllabus. In my own life, as a teacher to the civils in sociology, I have witnessed the 3 changes in sociology. The earlier Malinowski and Radcliffe Brown were there, which have been taken out. Then for a longer time, only 5 scholars were there. And then G.H. Mead was added. And I still say, I don't know whether you take this sentence of me in understanding or not, that I fail to understand whether UPSC certainly wants Mead to be known to the students. Because the way the syllabus has been talked in terms of only self and society, there has been nothing in terms of philosophy of act. And there could be a question, you don't know, in terms of comparative analysis of social action, in terms of Weber, Talcott Parsons and Mead. Since we are not teaching about this one, we are only talking about self and society. And in this very perspective, while reading, you need also to anticipate the questions. That this could be question and this could also be forming a question. Many times to my own students I say that most of the time the questions which has been asked in UP civils, there is a criticism of positivism. Now, I do not ask this question. Suppose if I say what are the strengths, despite so many criticism, positivism still has a nerve, has a challenge before the contemporary sociologist, critically analyze. This could be a question. You cannot say that this question cannot be there because they have said positivism and its critique. And in that very perspective, you also needed to anticipate the questions. And some offbeat questions have been asked to you, which you consider to be offbeat. But they had their own locations within the discipline. When we look at all these questions which are there, I picked one offbeat question in a paper 1, kudos. Have you heard of? नहीं पढ़ा जरूर होगा, ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आपने नहीं पढ़ा होगा, हो नहीं सकता है. I'll remind you, because many a times it is said कि sir is bit difficult. No, I'm not difficult. I'm conceptual. I'm not talking essay. I'm not talking about general studies. Kudos is the Mertonian norm of science. Right? They had asked one question earlier, serendipity. पूछा था ना? So if they ask you the kudos, can you say this is an offbeat question? Are you getting me? Earlier, if you look at the syllabus, I don't know how long you have been preparing and you have looked at the old syllabus or not. There was one topic, science and technology. And the questions you would be looking at your answers. ethos of science, norms of science in your own question bank, because most of the question bank which are there, they have contained all the old syllabus and within which the questions have been classified. This ethos of the norms or the normative pattern of the science, that has been there in a Merton. And if I make the sentence that Merton in his very last phase of life became interested in sociology of science. And in this light he also wrote a book, that is Travels and Adventures of Serendipity with Barbara Eleanor. And the moment I say that he has written this, co-authored this book, then the question on serendipity which has been asked, that has been there with you. So kudos here which I are talking about is 4 aspects, which could be referred by the acronym of Mertonian normative perspective of science. C stands for communalism. That every discovery which has been done in science, that has to be there in terms of the communal use. And thus he uses one word that is called obliteration of profit. Koi nahi, thoda sa, since the question has been there, we'll talk about all the things in syllabus, but first I'll talk about this all which have been picked up. Obliteration of profit means any scientist who has discovered anything, that discovery is restricted to earn profit. It means when we say that every scientific discovery would be for the use of the entire humanity, that this is the first norm. And when any scientist has discovered and tried to go for the obliteration of profit, then the normative pattern of science has been broken. U is universal. Science is not restricted to any space, any category or any social grouping. D is a disinterestedness. And OS is an organized escapism. And in this very perspective, the Mertonian domain has come up. I first thought of giving only the term kudos, but I thought that it would be too difficult. So I added the question from the Mertonian perspective. So that at least if you have read, then you could come over there, and that way the Mertonian norm of science, that has to be talked about. I and me, you might have known this one. No? If I ask you what are the things to be written in I and me, be friendly with me. Let it be the two-way traffic. It is always good to falter before the teacher rather than in UPSC. Now, if I say I and me, it means we are talking about G.H. Mead. No? And your basic beginning would be either in terms of the types of self, or the self is a dialogue between I and me. Now, and the moment you say self is a dialogue between I and me, then what I find that you are basically talking about the transition from I to me. Now, is there any I in me? Mead padha hai na? So I and me is fine. So from I to me is the transition. All right there? Will there be I in me? Are you getting me? If there is no I in me, then symbolic interactionism would be similar to that of the functionalism. Now, if I make a diagram, hasna nahi, because I am not an artist, but I will make you understand some of the things in functionalism, symbolic interactionism, positivism and non-positivism. Here are values, norms, status, roles. Another set I am picking up. And here is an actor. Actor who has understood this. So this is understanding. On the basis of the understanding, he has gone for behavior. But here, in a symbolic interactionism, the actor is confronting it. Now, his back is not there. Rather, he is looking at them. And then he evaluates. Then understands. And then behave. Getting me? This is functionalism. This is symbolic empiricism. It means if I sociologically now say in one line that in a functionalism, the actor is passive receptive field, whereas in symbolic empiricism, the actor is active field, because active self is there. And in that very perspective, here too, the socialized individual has emerged, who has been socialized with the norms, values, status and role, and within this category, he behaves in the society. But here the moment you say that the actor is having an active field, then he is not a passive one. The moment situation changes, he will evaluate the situation, alright? But why he would be evaluating or how he will be evaluating? His evaluation would be there only when there is I in me. Getting me? It means here when I say I in me, I is a creative part. I don't know whether when you have read Mid say I is much more stronger among the artists. Every creative person has a stronger I. And in that very perspective, this would be the symbolic empiricism, this is the functionalism. And this is also to be picked up in terms of positivism, which Mead calls to be pre-Einsteinian, pre-Newtonian method. And from there, with this indeterminism, that could be picked up. And once you pick up the indeterminism, the approach would be anti-positivist, which could be quoted as a non-positivist method. So you have a question somewhere, how the neo-idealists and symbolic empiricists have criticized the positivism. Come here, Weber with Mead. So this way, me and I, or the first part would be there in a me and I, in a symbolic empiricism, and then I in me, and you need to talk about the interaction between them. If I make the three sentences, that usually me takes precedence over I. Now, this is the impact of Darwin's natural variance. Hans Joa, अगर कभी पढ़ा हो sociologist, वो कहता है till date sociologist will have to endeavor to find the merit of Charles Darwin and his impact on Mead. And in that very perspective, when we are talking about me is taking precedence of I in a road race, when you have abused someone, lost your cool, it is the I which has taken precedence of me, which is the unusual one. But on a certain occasions like patriotism, religious fringiness, whatever the I is indulged into, he wants the similar kind of response from the me. So I and me become one. Now, abhi UPSC ka form bharte ho na? Then you write about hobby. Now, have you ever thought of that why hobby is there and how hobby could be used in terms of G.H. Mead? No. You indulge in it, you do have a hobby. Hai hobby hai? Hai? Why do you indulge in a hobby? Hobby is the expression of I, not me. Alright? And I'm not quoting anyone, I'm quoting Mead. And in this very perspective, this I and me within the symbolic empiricism that has to be placed. Alright? This very interaction, ongoing interaction between me and I and me, and I and me becoming one, would basically be entailing the notion of change, Mead argues. And in that very perspective, you need to talk about and then also bring ऐसा तो पढ़ा होगा ना, play stage and game stage. Only one sentence. A child can play alone. Game requires a team. And the moment I say the game requires a team, you have come to the concept that is called generalized others. And that generalized others would be the impact of Hegel on Marx, German ideology. It means somewhere you need to understand the context in which every thinker have emerged. And many a times, time and again I quote, thinkers are not the wild plants. No philosopher would be a wild plant, that he would be growing anywhere. Every philosopher would be the product of his own time. So those socio-historical perspective which you are looking at of that scholar, that would be the major perspective through which that has to be viewed. I quoted Marx, that no philosopher is a wild plant. You need to understand the socio-historical condition within which the thinker has emerged out. So the moment you start looking at every thinker, give half an hour, 1 hour to look at that why this content in your syllabus has come. That if Durkheim talks about division of labor, why Durkheim talks about division of labor? If Marx talks about the dialectical materialism, why Marx talks about dialectical materialism? And thus a comparative analysis before you would be there. That conceptual domain would always be there. And that way, how to begin the questions will become the more important one. If you have gone through the question, if I quote 2 early questions, that it is not the consciousness that determines the being, rather it is the being that determines the consciousness. Now, and there is one question, subjective perception of objective reality prepares the text of a class struggle. You cannot begin this question without comparing Hegel with the Marx. You can't begin that one, because that question has a genesis in dialectical idealism versus dialectical materialism. So once the question you look at, and this is the 10 marks, where we have to write that is 100 words or 150 words. You should be clear that what you are going to write, because the space has been provided to you. You can't dare to write and then you find that no, I have off track, and then cut it, then begin, because the space would be left. So in that very perspective, the moment you look at the question, that conceptual clarity has made you that what are the structural points, synopsis, that which I am going to write. And in that very perspective, this domain in I and me will be going on. Now, I picked up one question. If you look at this, is too difficult to answer in 100 words. That how do Karl Marx and Max Weber differ in terms of class and capitalism? Okay, na? So Trinity model is known. Theory of PQ, ऐसा याद है? नहीं, कोई नहीं पता है, टर्म्स नहीं पता होगा. Getting me? In a Marxian perspective, we are looking at the basis of a stratification in terms of class. Class is there in terms of the modes of production, their relationship. So the nature of class is economic. Clear है यहाँ तक? But Marxian stratification is more of a difference, not of a hierarchy. Alright? The moment Weber comes out, Weberian perspective of stratification is hierarchical, not difference one. Clear है यहाँ तक? And now I quote 2 lines of Weber. That analyzing class only from the economic perspective would be myopia. Because the 2 other structural elements will also produce the caste. And thus he talks about the Trinity model that is called class, status and party. Clear है मेरी बात? So अगर ऐसा sentence बोलूं, compare करना है ना? Marx in a class has encompassed the social and political dimension. नहीं. बारी हो रहा है, बारी होगा, कूड़ा करकट पड़े हो, मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता, और मैं बहुत एरोगेंटली बोलता हूँ इसको. Class, status and party. So class is economic, status is social, party is political. But if Marxian perspective is unilateral, monolithic, then in economy he is subsuming both, that is the social and political. Weber does recognize that class could be formed on the basis of economy, But only economy, visualizing the perspective of class from economy could be myopia. Some two other structural elements are there. So he would be bifurcating the social and political from there. Okay, na? Getting me? And in that very perspective, the class analysis should be there. Capitalism. Oh, I don't know whether you have heard this sentence of capitalism in Weber, that there is no such thing as capitalism, there has always been capitalisms. Let's begin from there. If you say Marx, then what method will imply? Let me begin from a very scratch. Marxian method would be dialectical. It would be materialistic, to be viewed within the edges of history. It means materialistic interpretation of history would be the most important one, which we popularly refer as historical materialism. Fine. But what methods will be employing in a Weber? Every unit which are there in a Weber, they must incorporate two methods. First, Verstehen. Verstehen is a understanding. And then ideal type. Hoga ideal type. Can we say capitalism was found only in a modern society? Are you getting my question now? When Marx says that capitalism is a unique historical development, then it emerges as a synthesis by countering the feudalism. So capitalism is a synthesis. ठीक है यहाँ तक? But in this very perspective, Weber says that we need to understand that why in a course of history, I quote two lines of Weber, why in the course of history some people oriented their actions to the accumulation of capital. This very accumulation of capital cannot be answered from the Marxian perspective. That could be answered only from the perspective of Verstehen, explanatory Verstehen. That is, taking the meaning from the perspective of an actor. Alright? And then applying the ideal type. So there would be boutique capitalism, there would be traditional capitalism, and there would be a modern capitalism. So there is no such thing as capitalism, there has always been capitalisms. So the moment you say there has always been capitalisms, at least with this sentence you have known that the perspective of ideal type has to be employed over there. Alright? जब भी कोई, whenever you read any thinker, अभी आज से when you go back home with this question or other questions which are there in civils, do three things. Take one loose sheet, name the scholar and write theme. Theme is the content which is written over there in your syllabus. Then concept. Close it, don't turn. Recall back. Suppose if I say, in a Durkheim, the theme is division of labor. Then what concepts will come out? In division of labor. Now you are getting me? So the first will be coming out, the modern form of integration. Now, that differentiation and specialization does not forfeit integration. Why while becoming autonomous individual depends more on society? This is the basic question. With this, the first concept would be collective conscience. Clear, right? Then, Durkheim's division of labor is intricately linked to the two types of laws, repressive law and the restitutive law. Okay? And then, mechanical, organic solidarity, then moral individualism. I am not talking about this, is the concept which you call in Durkheim, that is homo duplex. Ye ho gayi? What method he has used? This is the theme. These are the concepts which your answer must contain, and what method he has employed of. So, positivist होगा, division of labor is a social fact, है ना? अगर ऐसा मैं बोलूँ कि social facts are those collective ways of thinking, feeling and doing which though comes through individual but are external to him and are endowed with a coercive power, right? चलता है? नहीं? किसी कोई है इसमें? तुम में से? मैं हूँ। इधर बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होता है to the smokers. So we every year we go for इलेक्ट्रोकार्डियोग्राम, ECG टेस्ट करवा लो, डॉक्टर ऐसा लिखता रहता है 6 महीना में मुझे। हाँ, E for external, C for constant, G for generality, normal, पैथोलॉजिकल। यही तो फीचर है सोशल फैक्ट का, है ना? सोशल फैक्ट्स आर एक्सटर्नल, कोअर्सिव, जनरल एंड पैथोलॉजिकल। जनरल में नॉर्मल एंड पैथोलॉजिकल। दिस इज ECG, दिस इज सोशल फैक्ट। हियर इज द कंसेप्ट, हियर आर दिस causality, cause and effect phenomena. So in terms of positivism, his method would be comparative. That comparative method is not a method in sociology, Durkheim says, rather it is a sociology in itself. And then getting me? Abhi mains, before you go to the mains. Now I do not say that you go for 8 hours or 10 hours or be a zombie. No. Enjoy your life. Divide your time. Give 2 hours. Suppose you have said that every day I will be giving 2 hours to sociology. Then in these 2 hours, pick up 2 topics. That today I will do unit 5 and 6. Fine there? Keep the syllabus with you, you have gone through once. Don't turn to any book, don't turn to any notes which you have gone through. Just pick up the concept from there. Use that as a theme. And try to recall that if this part is there, what concepts are correlated. And from here, if you are looking at the thinkers, whose methodology is being used over there. Getting me? And in that very perspective, make a flow chart kind of things. And those questions where you have struggled, it means now you have become focused. That these are the few sub-units in this topic or this unit where I have struggled to find the data which I am going to put. Right? And be prepared that every day is the mains to you. Mains will not come in December. Your mains has begun from there. The day you have had the feeling that this year I am going to take mains, your mains has begun from there. And you need to be on the toes that provided any day if this question comes to me, what I am going to write. Make this, where you have struggled, look at your notes, whatever notes, wherever you have read, and your books. And once you have done that one, then tentatively look at the question of unit 5. The best way to get comfortability is to analyze the questions which are asked in UPSC. And if you are unable to answer these questions despite your attempt, then there is something very serious. Something is lost out. You would be writing the answers, but that would not be fetching you the marks. Right? And if you are struggle it. You are here to struggle. Once you have chosen this field, your struggle has begun over there. It is not an easy cake. Those who have qualified, and if you qualified, it has not been an easy cake. It was your dream. You need to chase that dream. And in that very perspective, do with every unit. And once you have done it, I am quite sure that after 1 month, you will bubble with confidence that these units, these are the dimensions and I know it. Any day, any question comes out, I will be able to do this. Fine there? And some quotes which are there with the thinkers. In the same one you write in 1 or 2 lines. So to remind you that these are to be used by me. Getting me? And this way your approach to the sociological perspective is the more important one. But your answers should not be journalistic. You are in a specific subject and you read it. Despite this, your mental contour has not come to this level that the literature of sociology has been very rich. There has been no area, even in a second paper, right from Indology to the caste conflict, where empirical works have not been done. You pick up 1 or 2. Now, scholars are always to be quoted by you to substantiate your answer, not to frame your answer. I repeat, in a second paper, everywhere you have been taught that second paper will fetch you marks when you have quoted the empirical examples. Empirical examples are those examples what the sociologists have done on that topic. Now, but these empirical examples should not be abrupt. They should have their own location. That what you are writing there, these empirical examples or the sociological thinkers are basically to substantiate your answer, not to frame your answers. And with this, 1 or 2 would suffice all the things. You cannot say, suppose if they are asking communalism and the sociological analysis, you can't talk about the 10 scholars that he has done here, he has done here, here. No, this is not the answer. This is a fact. Answer has been lost somewhere. You pick up 1 or 2 what you consider while analyzing and substantiate that one. This way the second paper has to be done and this way the first paper has to be done. Now I picked up in a second paper, if you look at the question, I picked up Sanskritization. Now, ठीक है ना, Sanskritization तो easy है, ठीक है, but the moment you turn to the books and a more advanced book, you find about the 3 definitions of Sanskritization by M. N. Srinivas. That question has not been asked. In Sanskritization, I can ask a question in terms of Sanskritization has made Srinivas to come in debate with Weber. But this is too difficult. Here when you have wrote Sanskritization, imagine what other questions could come up. Why Sanskritization has been picked up? So in a paper 1, paper 2, part 1, part A, unit 1 is a structural functionalism. The tenets of a structural functionalism is known to you the moment you have gone through Durkheim, and more precisely the moment you have come to Talcott, Parsons and Merton. Your perspective has been known. Alright? And if you say why structural functionalism in Srinivas? Srinivas through the Cambridge Fellowship has gone to Britain, and the teachers to whom he confronted, to whom he was taught, were basically the 2, A.R. Radcliffe Brown and Sir E.E. Evans Pritchard. They are the doyens of British structural functionalism, who are looking at structural functionalism in terms of social relationship. Find there, this impact is there. And in this very perspective, Sanskritization could be used as a structural functionalism. No. Sanskritization would be there within the structure of a caste. Structure ho gaya. Function of which is to provide the avenues of mobility to the lower caste. Are you getting me my sentence? When the lower caste, by imitating the lifestyle of the upper caste, tries to improve his condition in a caste hierarchy in a generation 1 or 2, it means Sanskritization is a long process. It is a group process. It is a orthogenetic. Orthogenetic means emanating from within, जिसको आप internal change बोलते हैं, उसके लिए orthogenetic change बोलते हैं. So this is emanating from there. It is only a positional change, not a structural change. These are the words which you know it. Now, within the structure of caste, it is providing the lower caste the avenues of mobility. Right? So somewhere they ask the question, what are the traditional avenues of mobility in Indian society? Even if you are writing that question, Sanskritization would be picked up. Alright? Sometimes they ask the question, do you think Sanskritization has lost its relevance? And they ask the question, do you think the intertwined concept of Srinivas, that is Sanskritization and Westernization, has been replaced by modernization? So these are the models Either you could use in terms of mobility or you could use that in terms of social change. So the moment you read this, you try to make a certain points. Then and there. And develop the habit of writing. Don't think that on that particular day I'll be able to write everything. No, it will be too difficult for you. You make it a point that you are keep on writing. Your writing practice has been done by you. Getting me? And this way Sanskritization would be done. There is one question which I picked up in a Louis Dumont structural perspective. ऐसा क्वेश्चन आपको पूछा जाता है. I picked up, I said in the very first sentence the moment I entered, that I have picked up the very basics to you. But the basics are conceptual. Now, Louis Dumont's Homo hierarchicus caste system, because that is the perspective of a study. Fine, Ayana. Why he is a structuralist? I am not doing anything. This question has been asked to you. Why he is a structuralist? Why structuralism comes in Louis Dumont? Getting me? You are getting my question. Don't bother. Don't look tense. मेरे साथ खुश रहो, हंसते रहो. And when I smile on you, smile back to me. It does not cost you anything. Pure, impure. Why pure and impure? खाली रटे नहीं. It is the impact of French structuralism, Claude Lévi-Strauss. He is a French scholar, isn't it? 2 मिनट लगेगा कंसेप्ट को जानने में. Claude Lévi-Strauss, Lévi-Strauss का जीन्स होता है ब्रांड. Now you'll remember that name. That sir has said. Claude भूल गए तो Lévi-Strauss तो याद रहेगा. Now, Lévi-Strauss has proposed the concept that is called binary opposition. So if I say this is white, and if you say this is white, then you have the idea what is black. Now, so when you say Brahman, without having the idea of Sudra, Kshatriya and Vaishya, you cannot make this category of Brahmin, isn't it? So when you say some castes are pure, some things are pure, some castes are impure, and some jobs are impure, then the binary opposition between pure and impure is there in your mind. Alright? So caste as an idea, याद रखना इस sentence को, which divide the beings and things. The structuralism has come. Now, so if I go in a theoretical domain, idea is a primary. It was a Hegelian perspective. Lévi-Strauss, एक लाइन इधर लाए, मेरे हाथ को देख के. In one line, Hegel से we picked up idea, and from there in a Claude Lévi-Strauss we brought the binary opposition, and here is a Louis Dumont, and the structures domain will come out. But he would also be having the distinction in terms of he could also be referred to as an Indologist. Now I don't know. Whenever Indology comes, we always talk about G.S. Ghurye. Now, time and again in every writing of G.S. Louis Dumont, he says Indian sociology is now required to bring a relation between sociology and Indology. So he is counted as an Indologist, and he was an Indologist. With his work on a Paramalla Kala in Tamil Nadu, he used the same Claude Lévi-Strauss in terms of the alliance theory. Getting me? Now you have the questions in a second paper. Original variation of kinship, types of kinship in India. Southern type is an alliance model which is based on Claude Lévi-Strauss model. Irati Karve's model is based on L.H. Morgan's model. These two models, if you remember, you have now provided the answer in a more sociological perspective. It is not merely a piece of information that you have done. And that much you needed to struggle. Either you say that the things was tough, it was not tough because you had not heard it. Now when you say something is hard, difficult, it is difficult because you have not understood it. And mind me, when I say you have enough time for men's, if you give only some time, Every answer which you use sometimes seems to be not having the sociological contour or shape. If you give some time, 5, 10, 15 minutes to understand that why and where from where this has come out, your answers should be having the sociological perspective. And you need now to make the examiner know that you understand sociology. Sociology is not the subject that you have taken. Earlier at our time, the people used to say, why sociology? They say its syllabus is very small. Now that time is gone. And sociology has done well. But it has done only well to those who have struggled to provide the sociological perspective. Getting me? And there is one, yes please. You add in a first paper. But that would be there in terms of when you say 5-year plan, isn't it? Why 5-year plan? अब मैं sociologically बोलता हूँ अभी, हाँ? That there could be two perspectives of change. Change could be laissez-faire, non-interventionist. ये तो word पता है ना? Let it be alone. It means society does nothing to bring about a change. Whatever the general processes of society which are there, in terms of cultural contact, diffusion, innovation, change would be brought. Fine there? And change could be intervened. Getting me? It means your concept has now come to sociologically directed social change, in which plan development and social policies are a part of. Right. So when you say 5-year plan, then 5-year plan is a plan development, is a directed social change, where the society has not only set a goal but has tried to intervene into it. आ गए? या तो ऑप्टिमल थियरी उधर से उठा लो पैरेटो का, उतना भी नहीं करो तो इतना तो कर ही सकते हो ना. So you are not writing that 5-year plan came in 1951, ended in there, and these are the objectives. Yes, it's the same thing you are writing in essay as well. It's the same thing you are writing in a GS as well. Now, if you, this is a very small book, Understanding Change by S.C. Dubey. I don't know whether this book you have gone through or not. Very small book. It will take 1 or 1.5 days. If you look at it, you will find about the sociological perspectives in terms of a change. Now, but this book has a one perspective that if you have not understood sociology, if you have not gone through sociology, that book would be a bit difficult. Why? Because the moment he begins with a change, he says that change has been a central theme throughout the inception of sociology. And he does not define, he begins with Kant. That when Kant talks about the evolution of society from theological to metaphysical to positivist is a change. How Durkheim has brought about a change from mechanical to solid, organic. What Spencer talks about the change from the military to industrial. Karl Marx in terms of dialectics. And the notion of change has always been central in the definition of social action of Weber. So anyone who is a new, he does not know anything about sociology, this book would not be helpful. But this book would certainly be helpful to you. Now, so when we are talking about the India's march toward the modernization, these kind of diagrams would be there. Alright? And out of the diagrams, if you look at the question, sometimes the questions has been asked to you, human agencies, human faculties, ऐसा questions have been in social planning में. These questions have been taken from S.C. Dubey. You just go, find that book, you look at the diagram, the questions would be there before you. And you recall back that in this year, if this question has come out, this question was there. Getting me? That way, point is that you need to be sociologically writing the answers. Alright? Because you are not a layman. When you are writing question in sociology, then you are a specialized one. Your answer must be different from those who are a layman who have not understood the sociology. And if you have not been able to justice, I don't say that you don't get marks. You will certainly be getting marks. Because something you have written. But that marks will not make you realize your dream. If they suppose if they gave you the marks somewhere in 200s, now, then you are out of the race already. How much marks you are getting in GS? No, this is the fact which I am talking about. I am a part of GS, I teach GS, but despite this I am saying, because I am a first a sociologist, a student of sociology rather than a GS teacher. Now, most of the people who have qualified, they have qualified on a rank because of the marks in a GS, but marks in a optional and essay, isn't it? Otherwise, the marks in a GS has been very limited. Have you found anywhere where the people have got 50% marks in GS? So this is the 3 years. You will be going for the 4th year. Can you say that all the people who have qualified have had 500, 550? No. The toppers have 330, 340, 350, 360, approaching 400. So the marks is somewhere from 33% to 40%. And when you look at their marks in optionals, 298, 302, 126 in essay. Now they have not depended on this. That optional has made them come to the front. And remember, and you know it, that optional is a deciding factor in your life by the time you are in civils. Now, so when you realize that optional is a deciding factor of you, then how could be lethargic? How could be so laid back in your attitude? And you don't think that now which I have read, I am not able to go for the new kind of change. Whenever you read something, you have read sociology, whenever you read something, don't let the new data collide with your old data. Always have the mental contour of the assimilation. That this data would be assimilated rather than colliding with you. Alright? And once you start having this one, then you will find that somewhere, whatever or the way you are approaching the question is better than the previous one. And if you have been able to improve, suppose you have taken mains and you are stuck somewhere in a certain marks, in around that periphery. And if you have done in this very assimilative manner, around 25-30 marks increase is there, you are through. Now, after which sociology has not to be remembered, marks what GH meet has to be done. But by the time you are here, GH meet has to be done, Parsons has to be done, isn't it? I asked one question there in terms of Talcott Parsons. There is one question that why Parsons is accused of deviating from his earlier stand. Hai na? The reference is here in this question, the reference is the structure of social action and the stand taken by it. I doubt any one of you has gone through or have been taught in terms of the structure of social action. The moment you turn that book, kabhi bhi, abhi yahan se jaane ke baad, look at the first preface. There is a very one sentence, what Parsons writes, now who reads Spencer? Implying none. It means, when he began the structure of social action, he was nowhere near functionalism. So he talked about the unit act, alright? But the moment you are looking at Parsonian social action is voluntaristic action, in which the 4 theorists are important. Alright? Alfred Marshall, Pareto, Durkheim and Weber. These are the 4 scholars through which the background of his social action has been prepared. Ye social action mein padhe hoge. And in that very perspective, when he is linking the unit act of one individual with another, alright, he turns toward the functionalism. And then this question has the base, and from there you pick up from the action to the social system 1951. Academically, in sociology, we call it to be the methodological visit by Parsons. And in that very perspective, from social action to the social system. And in this domain, this question has come out. And do the justice with that question. Are you getting me now? And in that very perspective, you need to talk about. So the questions which are there, you first have to conceive the concept, the basic from where this question has been raised to you. And then the third part will come out, what are the contents to be written. No, in many a times I say that when the students say me, sir, should I write bullet form? Should I write paragraph wise? I am the old traditional teacher, I said go for the paragraph wise. It does not mean that when the time is short, you don't go for the bullet point wise. No? But either should I go through the paragraph wise or should I go for the bullet form? is the concern when you know something. If you don't know anything and you don't know what is to be written, then neither you would be able to answer that question in a bullet form, nor you would be able to answer, frame your question in a paragraph form. So, you first understand the question, its a need disposition, and from here conceptually clear that these are the things which has to be written over there. And once you write it, you will find that your answer is in a flow. Any answer in UPSC which is in a flow will fetch you more marks than the settled one. If you give me one answer and you have stuck, I will make you know that you have stuck somewhere. Because the moment you have started writing and you are stuck, then you will recall and then you will write. Within this, the perspective of you being deviate from the flow would be much more higher. But in a one flow you have written, that answer is in one flow. I will let you know that in a extempore he has written that one. And that would somewhere raise the subjectivity of the teacher. If through your answers you have been able to raise the subjectivity of the teacher, your marks would be much more higher. Right? And every 1 and 5 questions are compulsory. Short notes are there. I have not framed this one because this was only one. But the moment it is a short notes, if you try to make an approach that in a short notes through this wall perspective, everywhere I will be trying to get more than 6. I will nowhere would be getting 2, 2.5, 3 marks in a short notes. Getting higher marks in short notes is much more easier than getting marks in a long question. Suppose earlier when there was a question of 600 was 60 marks. How much marks I could give you? I can't give you 54. No, myself would start feeling some different kind of feeling. 54 out of 60. It is not a mathematics. But I can give you 7 out of 10 in a short notes. 12, I can give you 8. 8, 5 is 40. 40, 40, 80. You have ensured that one. Now, if you have done that one, somewhere by only picking the 4 question, your marks is somewhere from 140 to 160. You will always be able to cross 300. Provided you know the concepts, provided you know the context, and you know the need disposition of the questions. And once these are there, all right, you will be able to realize for which you have been struggling. Now, choice would be yours. Should I persist with my struggle for long? Then go on writing as you have been writing. And if you feel no, this would be the last one, I am not going to struggle now more, there must come an end to the endeavor. Suppose we are only laboring and we are not getting anything. What use of that labor? Isn't it? So this choice is yours. You go on that perspective, do that one and go on this dimension. Within 1 week, if you have approached 2 or 3 topics through this theme, concepts and methods with a certain scholars, right? When you are looking with the units, add 1 more. This is for thinkers. Here you talk about thinkers, right? For example, there is a question like natural inequality, how natural inequality gets built into social inequality. है ना ऐसा क्वेश्चन? अगर मैं आंद्रे बेते को कोट करूं कि the inequality produced by nature will remain to be a inequality unless and until a perspective of cultural meaning is attached. Getting me? If you say Aristotle has provided social legitimacy to the natural inequality. The society is born between the slaves and the free men. Look at this question should be there. Every question which has been asked has a certain base. This base has been from your syllabus. And no question, don't go by this line, I don't believe in this line. That question was out of the syllabus. The moment you make the sentence that a question was out of the syllabus, either I as a teacher has failed you to open up the dimensions, or you as a student whose future was at stake has not endeavored to find another dimension of it. Questions would never be out of syllabus. Question would always be from that syllabus which is there with you. Don't go beyond that syllabus. But for your own perspective, for your own comfortability, open up break the syllabus into the certain dimensions. And once you have been able to break in terms of tabular form, you know that this unit has this perspective. Inequality has this dimension. Equality has this dimension. Social exclusion has this dimension. And that way he approaches, this is enough time now. Today is 12th, I think. Isn't it? Your result is yet to come. It will take almost a month. No? So, in this 1 month, one perspective has come out that my selection would be there, my call in prelims would be there. Make it sure that within this 30-35 days, your optional is solid. Alright? But don't read only optional. You divide your time, and once that is, you have qualified, within that stipulated time, divide the time that this is the area of GS or essay or general English and every other thing, I will be giving that much time. You would be able to manage your time. Time management is more important. You have read it. And in that very perspective, go on that very dimensions. And if you look at the questions, alright, make it a habit. Every day. In the evening particular. Evening is a very dangerous time, I always say, because I have been hostel throughout my life. Evening is the time where you do not feel like studying in the hostel. And even if you have planned to study, someone will come out. Let's move, we'll have a cup of tea. No? Or we'll smoke. You carry your question bank with you when you are going to take a tea. Alright? And then look at the question. Keep on looking the question. Keep on looking the syllabus. Syllabus, the more you look at the syllabus, it would provide you much more better than the notes you should go through. Isn't it? So the syllabus should be there. Even today, if I say, and I will say it with the confidence, if I ask you, any one of you, and I will raise and I say, make me the syllabus understand. Do you remember? You know, don't remember. No? But if you ask me any topic, I will let you know that from where it has come. Which sub-unit is there? Where it is written. So that syllabus is the first one where you are comfortable. Look at the contents. Whenever in any unit you go, look at the questions. Don't abruptly try to be very adventurous. Suppose if you don't know anything about mutton or marks, fine. And if you have been looking at the 20 questions of marks, it will not give you comfortability. You will always be disappointed. Once you have gone through, look at the questions and challenge yourself. That today, if at this time when I have read it and when I am looking at the questions, and if this question is raised to me, what are the points which I am going to discuss? Alright? Once that has been done, then the one thing that we will have to work upon is to how to summarize that within the 100-150 words. You may be able to know too many things, but the point is that whether you are able to put that in that stipulated time or not is the most important one. Academically, you may know so many things about one topic, but you would be able to write in 100 words. And sometimes some units where you know only few. And then you have to feel that, would I not be repetitive? Because if you keep on repeating, then you are not fetching marks. And that way, these are questions which I picked up in a very simple manner. I had a two choice with having the interaction with you. I made the questions which were a bit analytical. And then it was said, no, make the simple questions, discuss this one, and let it open so that the other dimensions of the questions could be raised by you. And in that way, the 5 questions here and 5 questions in a second paper has been done. But do provide be aware of the theoretical one, conceptual one, and how to use, how to apply that theoretical and conceptual one in your answer would be the key to your success. Don't provide the answers in like a general layman. That would not fetch you any marks. Alright? Anything which you want to know, let me know. Yes, please. No, that is the question. If you are also to understand the words. Now, examine. What you will write? Elucidate. Review. Critically analyze. Will they follow the similar perspective? Now, some difference would be there. I do agree that at the time of mains, when you are writing, taking mains. Now, despite knowing this clarity, every answer of yours in a similar fashion. This is too obvious. But that's why I said that one who has kept his nerve, has understood it, would certainly be fetching more marks than you. Examine has always to be substantiated with the practical one, the contemporary examples. Now, review will always involve historicity. Without historical, how could I review? Now, elucidate. The perspective given has to be enlarged. Discuss, describe, and short notes. They have the same perspective. Every dimension has to be opened up. Only difference is that in a short notes, word limit is there. Isn't it? But that word limit is gone now. Because all questions either that is by 10 into 5 or 10-1. All are to be written somewhere between 100 and 150 words. At most, if they could ask the 200 words. Getting me? Critically analyze. When you criticize any scholar, do you provide the concluding paragraph of the relevance of his criticism? Suppose if you say, Sir Bekar, you have criticized me. Every perspective of me, the strength of me has been nullified by you. Isn't it? Is there any strength? Is there any relevance of the thinker? Anyone who is not from sociology would even make out that why we are continuing with Marx, Durkheim. They are the 19th century scholars. If we are continuing with the Marx, Durkheim and Weber, then behind them certain relevance is still found. That relevance has to be understood. So critically analyze, do the concluding paragraph, do the justice. Don't pick up the conclusion of those points which have not been mentioned in your answers. These are the very simple things. Isn't it? Comment, your perspective has to be do it. Analyze from your own dimension, that has to be done it. You cannot say that he says so, he says so. It was his analysis. Which I agree, which I may not agree. And UPSC does provide you the innovative perspective, which is not provided in a PCS. Here, if you have the valid points, if you consider the valid points to go through against the given perspective, go through this one. Many times they ask you, whose model do you consider best? Now, don't jump to conclusion. Every theorist has his own perspective, every relevance. Try to find the relevance, make a balance between them. This is the same question that would be raised to you in an interview as well. Whom do you consider to be the best? Suppose if you say Durkheim, so Durkheim is best. Or most of the students consider Weber to be the best. No? Why? Because Weber is speaking as you are thinking. Provided you don't know. Because the basic concepts are not known. When I say basic concepts are not known, if I ask you what is ideal type? Why ideal type was framed by Weber? और अगर मैं ऐसा दो सेंटेंस बोलूं that Weber, to address the problem of relation of science to value and a problem of value neutrality, came out with a model of ideal type. Ideal type is a refutal of the claim of a scientist that they can understand any phenomena in its entire totality. Hey, conceptual ho gaya. When a model has been provided by the sociologist, so the conceptual domain would be coming out. And once you write it, certainly your answer would be different from others. You have been writing on the ideal type is this and this, let's typification and that. It is a one-sided accentuation of a social fact, which Weber has used. Now I have been taught not to touch the figures. When I say not to touch the figures, don't mean that they are unadulterated, virgin olive oil. Now once you read the thinkers as they are, what we do? We read 2 lines, 3 criticism. 2 lines, 5 criticism. And every Indian is a good critic. You give him anything, he will give critic to this one. Because we need to carry this dialogue. Even if you say, suppose if you say, this is good, this guy is smart. Few people will say, yes, he is smart. 2 people will say, they have the habit. What is your smartness in India? Look at him, his color. Look at his what color combination he is done. Look at his shoes, what color he is. No, they will always be critical. You don't have We read one line and we go on. Never forget that you are a future of every thinker which is there in the syllabus. Time has passed, thinkers have gone, propositions have transformed. Within this change scenario, you are evaluating it. So when you become critical and you keep this time constant without taking into view, you will always be critical. If I say, what perspective of capitalism, what Marx has analyzed, and what perspective of capitalism which you are witnessing in contemporary times are altogether different. Isn't it? So in the changing dimension of capitalism, you are criticizing Marx. What you do that you don't pick this variable into account. You keep it constant and go only for the criticism. So the relevance part is left. Getting me? 5 दिन, 6 दिन. You just go do like this one. You pick up the image, you will find that you are on the right track. Getting me? And in this very perspective, the thing should be done. Anything else? Please.
They are asking for Marx, like Narega, domestic violence, explain the social and
Narega, if what is the social dimension of Narega? And me. It means somewhere the commitment shown in a constitution has been confirmed. Right? Employment, right to work, right? That would somewhere be a stopping perspective of organization. Alright here? And in that very perspective, if you look at it, that would also be changing the caste dynamics. Suppose if I say in the Narega, if the beneficiaries are from the several castes, every beneficiary has to work on the other's field. So that very caste abuse where there is a breaking down. Think of that line and the answers will come to you. Right? ICCI, Indian Council of Social Science Research, ऐसा कभी नाम सुना है? Go there. Do go there. Make your time. Take your time. Go there. Just enter behind the window. The moment you enter on the window pane, you will find out major currents, sociological currents in Indian society. Right? Buy or get details from it. There are every topic of the second paper with empirical examples. Any topic which are there, the sociological work has been done over there. They have provided the answer that he has worked there, he has found this. Now, buy this one, procure that one. So this one problem which always there is a second paper is very difficult to me. Go do this one. And in between, if you don't understand, come to me. When I am off time, when I am not taking the class, I will solve your problem. But do something for yourself. Alright? Let the process end here or this year. Don't make, he asked me the 5-year plan. I am repeating in a different perspective. Don't make your preparation 5-year plan. No. Make the bracket social change and a fixed social change. That this year, whatever it comes, I do my best to get it. Let your best foot come forward. Don't have the tentative approach. Your career stake, not mine. I have got my nirvana. My nirvana is gone. And that time it was not there that people used to say that how the things has to be done. And at least I always say, and for which I have to criticize my own department, that sociology and option does not require it to be initiated. Anyone who has not been initiated in sociology will do much more better than one who has done sociology. Why? Because they have been taught with a certain ideology. If you go to the area of academic institution would be proposing certain ideology. You don't have to commit to any ideology. No? So, you are a Marxist, you are a Weberian, you are a Durkheimian, you are a Parsonian supporter, you are a Maternal supporter, and you are also a supporter of Tweed. Alright? In the same length, you are a critic of all. As you are an ardent supporter, you are also an ardent critic of them. So, wherever you find, a critic is a well-learned man than a scholar. Getting me? So, when a critic is well-learned than a scholar, then by this line. Don't be critic without learning. That unless and until you have read, don't criticize. ऐसा तो नहीं होता है. Now look at करिए तीसरी better condition. Surplus value, somebody who has invested money, if he earns profit, what is so wrong in it? Logic has been given. When I quote Marx says, economic law, every economic law will be equivalent to its own economic regime. Surplus value is in relation to the labor theory of value of Adam Smith. This background has to be understood. That's why I say that every scholar, whatever they talk about, whatever the idea they have given, they have a base. Right? Give some time to understand that base. Once you have understood that base, you will always be in a better condition than others in a base. Further, anything else?
You could share very generalized solutions coming in, like people do like with the entire surface of a syllabus, modernization of Indian tradition, or idea of Indian tradition. So how do we write?
Are there the generalized one?
Very open-ended in terms
Why?
of.
Because that is part of the syllabus.
Yes, so
If I say part A, unit B, there is a written modernization of Indian tradition.
asking ability in marker, how do we
Make this. Only the theory, you are not saying that. What I say? Thinkers are only to be used to substantiate your answer. Isn't it? Modernization of Indian tradition has to be looked in terms of certain theoretical model. If you have mentioned on it, Srinivas will always prefer the term Western science and modernization. Why? Because he considered modernization to be the validated concept. Chicago school, alright, American school, the Indian school in terms of the R.K. Mukherjee, Sarna, that anyone who is trying to understand the modernization first need to understand the Indianization. So you are only picking up that perspective. And sociologically, if I say that when